Good morning, and welcome to the Crossroads on this morning. I'm Cheryl, and I'll tell you why I'm Cheryl. As a part of the lesson goes, as part of the session goes on this morning. Good morning, God bless you on this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in to our training session here at the Crossroads. I'm going to start this by saying I am so grateful, truly, whenever I tell you that this is the day that the Lord has made. There are so many things that's in this day, but if you don't go in the day, and it's all in your going. If you don't go in the day, you will never see what God has placed in this day for you. There are things that's before us in this day that's going to cause us to be able to see right, wrong, good, bad, but going in this day is going to make all the difference. And I'm just going to start my training session out on this morning by telling you, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for letting me into your homes, wherever you may be while you're watching this. Thank you so much. I am Cheryl on this morning, and we've been doing our training sessions, and we've been dealing with the mind. I promise you that your mind, my mind, where you are today, where I am today, is literally the place that we have chosen to be because of how it is we think. So we're the sum total again, and I'm a very repetitive teacher, and I believe that it has to be repeated until it's received, until it's believed. And God said to me on this weekend, He said, belief is pure. He said, belief is pure. And I had an opportunity to have a conversation with my daughter, and she said something in the conversation which led me to then go back to what it was that God had spoke, and I understood then what He meant. It's not mixed. Your belief is not mixed with anything. And I say that, no, it's not even, because faith is belief. So just let me say it like that. Your belief is not mixed with anything. Your belief is literally what it is you believe and how it is you act or react to whatever it is that's before you. Our training sessions lately have literally been about our mind, and that is the key. Our attitude on this morning, that's literally what I want to speak about. No, it's not that attitude like that. The attitude that I'm talking about, it comes from the fundamental, every last one of our fundamental beliefs and our convictions. That's the attitude that I'm going to be talking about on this morning. But I do want to go back, because on last Tuesday night, after we had our training session, one of the believers made a statement, and the word she used that caught my attention was open-minded. She was saying how we had to be open-minded. And I was like, oh my goodness, and I wrote it down. But I do want to address that on this morning, because in the mind is where the thoughts lies. Your eyes, your ears, your nose, that's all, everything that you perceive. That's where your perceptions and everything. But your thoughts, from what it is you perceive, comes into the mind. And she said that, she literally understood that she has to be open-minded. That's not just for her, and that's for us all. And I wrote down, and I said, it's twice in every last one of our lives that we are open-minded. 2 times in your life, you will become open-minded. First is at birth. We're open-minded at birth, and everything that anyone around us, our parents, teachers, peers, school, colleges, whatever, jobs, whatever they put in us, that's what goes into us. And believe it or not, today that's literally what you're living from. And here we always talk about that subconscious mind. So whatever I see, whatever I perceive, whatever I hear, I've already got a system that's built into me from what has been placed into me. I have this system already built into me that whatever you say, whatever you do, whatever I see, whatever I hear, I take all of those from those senses and I put it up against what's already been placed in me. And then that's how I make my decision, whether I'm going to believe you, whether I'm going to trust you, whether I'm going to do what it is you say I'm going to do. But this is one time. And guess what? We literally had no control over the first open mind. Because as infants coming into the world, everything that was around us went into us. And now the second time is whenever you decide that you're going to open up your mind to receive what it is you want to believe. What you now have the ability, you now have the potential, you now have the decision to make. So it's one time at birth, and then there's another time at the new birth. At this particular time, you now create within yourself. You now have the opportunity to discover. You now have the opportunity to choose, to decide, to believe, not to believe, but whatever you choose, now you have that ability to now take from that subconscious, and you can place something else in there different that now, based on what you see, what you hear, what is said, you put it against what you believe now. Not what you've been made to believe. Not what we have been taught to believe. Not what we have been instructed to believe. But we have our own belief system now. And we use what we have at this particular time to determine whether or not what we're going to do, what we're going to say. I thought about this, and a lot of people always talk about, it's the word. And I'm gonna be a little rough this morning, and I'm not apologizing for anything, because what's about to come forth is truly needed on today. And if you're going to have a new birth, if your mind is going to be open, then there's a barrier that has to be broken. And we have been bombarded with a lot of things that have, and we're living behind. We're living behind a wall that has been created for us. But this morning we're going to find out that we literally do have the ability and the potential to break the barriers and to come out and to create and to be creative and to also do what God really literally commanded, and the reason why we're here and what we're purposed to be able to do. Whenever she was talking about open mind, she realized that she had to be open-minded. The thing that the word, the word, for everybody that has to go to the Bible for everything, not understanding that you are the walking Bible on today, and men and women are reading you. Your children are reading you. Other adults are reading you. People on your job are reading you. So whatever you're doing in life on today, you literally are being read. I'm being read on today. So with that being said, whenever she said we had to be open-minded, I looked, and immediately I thought about Ezekiel and God, and Ezekiel and God having the conversation. And but the scripture that came to me was that people have a lot of dead men bones inside of them. The scripture said you're an open sepulcher. In other words, you're open, and literally the things that you're living, the way that we live today, it was literally passed down into our culture by the Greeks, whether we believe it or not, by the Greeks. And whenever you consider Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, those are dead men whose ideas, whose thoughts, whose words, whose is still living today. So we're literally living, we literally have dead men bones on the inside of us that's literally causing us to operate in life. You're living from dead men ideas. It has come into our culture, and that literally is how we're living. And when I thought about that, I went on and then I remembered how Ezekiel was in the valley of dry bones. Now those bones didn't have no life in it either. But God asked the question. He asked me, he said, can these bones live? And Ezekiel just got to the place, and he got to the same place where we need to get to today. God, you know. You know. My question to you on today is, do you want life restored? Do you want to come up out of the grave? Do you want to literally have the life that God created for you to have, instead of the life that you live that other men have placed in you to live? Dead men. When you check out Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, when you check them out, you check out their philosophy. You check out what they have said. You check out their beliefs. And you find that it extends from the Roman to the Greek. And what the Romans did, and which we went through that on Tuesday, when we were dealing with how the Romans, whenever they invaded Greece and they took over, one thing that was not destroyed was the Greek library. And because the library wasn't destroyed, and it wasn't destroyed on the words of the king. And when it wasn't destroyed, then what Rome did was they basically took all of the things that were in the library, and then they incorporated those things into their culture. And it went from them on into the other different cultures. And we literally discussed that on last Tuesday. And I won't go into depth into that on today, but I want us to understand that literally the democracy, democrate, the word democrate, it's a Greek word. And that's what this culture is in, the democracy, where you're free to do this, you're free to do that, but you're still yet governed by something, or something is over you in the governing. But there is also a process that God has literally given us, and it's a mandate that he's charging us with. And our mandate and our process, see, this is something, as I said, that the Greek and the Romans did not have. This is something, but it was there before they even came into giving what it is they have given. And that was whenever God has given to us. He gave us Genesis 1:26. And that literally should be our culture. That's our foundation. And we talk about that here all the time. Because God literally told us who we were. He told us who he made us first to be. Who he made us. And it tells us that we was made in his image. So we have the characteristics, we have the abilities, the same as God has. And then he says in his likeness to be able to do what it is he has done. So we've literally been talking about leadership. You taking back your power, you from the powers that be. You taking back your ability, because you are no longer, whenever you understand, you are no longer indebted to other men's ideas, to other people's philosophy. You yourself now has to become open-minded. There's another birthing that you need to have on today. Whereas to you, decide, but you also have to decide, where am I going to get this from? Where am I going to get this from? See, you cannot rise above your belief system. You cannot rise above your belief system. You have to, discover, the truth about yourself. And whenever you discover the truth about yourself and you can believe the truth about yourself, then guess what? Then you can be delivered from other people's opinions. Yes. You can definitely be delivered from other people's opinions. And a lot of people are living today based off of other people's opinions. I had to be delivered. My daughter had to be delivered. My son had to be delivered. You have to be delivered. Your children have to be delivered. Deliverance is one thing. But and God will, through his word, he delivers us, but he does not make us free. And as we discussed, even the word tells us, and you shall know the truth. The truth is what makes you free on today. The truth. Not their truth. Not their philosophy. Not their opinion. But it's what you discover about yourself. It's self-discovery. Self-discovery is what allows you to be able to discover the truth about yourself And the truth is what makes you free from everybody else's opinions. And on Tuesday, I'm bringing this back up because this is so detrimental. This is so detrimental to our belief, to our being on today. We were talking on Tuesday night about leaders, and we were talking about the leaders in the sense of human being over human beings, organizations. Even we got into the quote unquote into the church, and that's where. And God gave me this a long time ago, but it came back up on Tuesday night. But I'm gonna share this with you on this morning before I get into the depth of attitude and as a part of leadership. Every last one of us are leaders. You are a leader. Your child is a leader. Your son is a leader. Your daughter is a leader. Your aunt, your uncle, your mother, your grandmother, your father. We are all leaders because that's what God created us to be. But when I say that, I know the mindset from which we live and operate from. We often, if I say that you are a leader, the first thing you probably visualize is seeing yourself over people. And that's not leadership. That's not the leadership that God intended for us to have. See, once we know the truth, then we can be free from people being over us. And the church won't tell you this because once they get this and they give it to you, then they already understand the pastors, the apostles, the bishops. When they tell you this, if they tell you this, then they understand that guess what? I'm not over you. You're equal to me. And that's what they can't have. They can't have that equality. Solomon said, I think it was Solomon said, basically, I'm going to paraphrase it. He says, woe to the land when the man who's over you becomes king. And what he was basically saying, I think that's in, where did we say that was? That was it in Ecclesiastes? I got to get that because I want you to understand just what it was he was saying. It was what was Ecclesiastes what?
10:16.
Yeah, okay. I want you to read Ecclesiastes 10:16, and I want you to understand what he was saying because whenever someone has been put in position, and if their mindset already is from another person's or another theology or another ideology, when their mindset becomes they begin to operate from the mindset of somebody else's mind, then what they do is they literally are a slave to another man's opinion, to another man's philosophy. So what Solomon was saying in Ecclesiastes was, he says, anybody that's under a person like that, you're still dealing and they're still operating from a slave mentality. A slave mind, a slave mentality, and since they have the ability to tell you what to do, and they understand that they've been told what to do, then whenever they find out that that this is not it, this is not the way it's supposed to be, they're supposed to be equal, and that's according to the Word of God, because the leadership that God has for all of us, it comes from the gift that God has placed in every last one of us. See, he already told us, he said he created us to become leaders. And then he designed us to have dominion. And he already told us what we was going to have dominion over. What we are to rule, govern, what we are to manage. God already gave us that, and he gave it to us in Genesis 1:26. He said, we're going to have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over all the creeps. That's over all creeping things, y'all. Over all the creeps. And in there, you never see man. In that, you never see. So how did we get to where we are? another man's ideology, another man, and they took their ideology and they made it a theology. They had to have something to go from. They had to have a fundamental foundation to base what it was they're doing. And this is going to get so good, you all, because once you know the truth, then you'll be able to break the barrier. You'll be able to push past all of their beliefs. You'll be able to push past all of their ideas, push past all, literally, we have literally messed people up. And okay, whenever I said dealing with the Greeks, even when we come down into culture, we then have to go into the different organizations, and from the different organizations we have to go into like the families. But the families, we have literally, because they have literally placed in us what we were to place into our children, the church damaged us in a sense. And none of this is that, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just getting to the bottom of it so that we can be free, so that you can free yourself. Because, the word will deliver you if you believe it. But God is not going to free you. He said you're going to know the truth. He said, and the truth is what's going to make you free. All you have to do is press it down a little bit, slide it down a little bit, and make sure that it says numbs. I'm sorry, y'all. Just give me one break because I have my the ring is on, and you might have heard that. So that ring, that's the ring. Okay, so we're back. So you shouldn't hear that anymore. Thank you so much for muting that. And I thought I had it muted. But what I'm saying is that what I'm teaching and what it is for you to receive from this, if you believe it, your belief system, it's going to be pure. It's going to be pure. You're not going to mix it with anything. And how can you tell when a person believes something? You tell by what that person does, how that person lives. You can literally tell a person's belief by how they live. So, as I said, God is not going to, he's not going to free us. His word within itself delivers us. And he delivers us through his word. But he says we're going to know the truth. You have to have a discovery, a self-discovery with yourself, with what it is you hear to choose whether or not you're going to believe it. And then you're going to be able to free yourself. It's time. It's past time that the barriers, the walls of our minds, the way whoever colonized us, whoever colonized you, that's the colony not only that you live in, but that's what formed your belief system. And today, we're going to go back to the original belief system, to the belief system that's above all belief systems, to the belief system that if you get in this belief system, there is no limit to your potential, and you will fulfill your purpose. I promise you that. I promise you that. But what it's going to take, and I started, as I said, it's not that we are to lead people. It's the gift. It's what you can't shape that you want to do. It's what you can't shape that you may have had a dream about. And it could have started, you could have had this dream 7, 8 years old, 9, 10, 11 years old, but that dream will not leave you. It's what you got a hunkering, a itch for that. But the only thing that's keeping you from it is you. You don't believe it? You know you want to do it. You know that that's what you're going to do. But what stops you is this. I ain't got no money. I got to wait till my kids, get grown. I got to wait till they finish school. I want to do this and I want to do that. But that's this cultural way of making us believe. But in what God said, God just told us, he told us one thing. He said, ask. He said, and it shall be given. He said, seek, and ye shall find. He said, knock, and it. He did not tell you a door. He said the same thing that you're knocking on, it will be open. That it is your goal, that it is what he's placed in you, that it is that gift that he put in you before you even got here. But we're not teaching this, we're not telling them this. We've been taught in reverse. We've been taught that we had to work. We've been taught that we had to go to school. We had to go to college, get a degree, work, marry, have a family, work till you get 65, retire. You might be able to retire a little bit early, but that's the system. No. Why don't we start by telling our children, bringing them up, and you can start now if you have them at this age. Start telling them, no. What business do you want? Because I'm getting ready to tell you, and you might not believe it, but really, it literally is the truth. Leadership is 80% attitude and 20% skill. You have a lot of people that were leaders that were not intelligent men or women at all. It was their attitude that made them different. And once your attitude becomes adjusted, once you get an attitude adjustment, you become a dangerous man. You become a dangerous woman. Why? Because there is no stopping. I'm gonna get back to the church because that's what I was in. That's what I had to break free from. And me and Danielle was having a conversation on yesterday, and we were talking about a recent incident that I went to, and I went into I went back into a church. And I don't have no problems. Seriously, I don't have no problems going into no churches. I don't, because I know what I'm going into. I'm actually going into a building. And I don't mind going into that building, sitting and listening to hear what that person has to say. My mindset is different. I have literally, the barrier has been broken that I'm going into a building, and that building is the church. The barrier has been broken that I'm going into a building, and whosoever that's up there standing, that's my pastor and he's leading me. No, you better ask them where they're going. Because you might not want to go. What did the word say? He said, if the blind lead the blind. That means that you can be a pastor, you can have people under you, and he still don't have a vision. You need to know where he's going. Where are you going? Where are you going? See, you would dare not ask your pastor nothing like that, right? You won't. Let me get to the place in the church, and I'm gonna leave the church, and we're gonna hit attitude again, and I'm gonna be done with this on today. Whenever we talk about leaders, a true leader literally works himself out of a job. And as we discussed on Tuesday, what God placed in you, He placed in you not for employment, but your gift is to deploy you, whereas you don't have to be employed by anyone. And that's how the culture has literally kept us barricaded behind our belief, or behind the belief system that you're now getting ready to create for yourself. You're getting ready to literally bust loose. I really do believe that, literally bust loose, because once you take control of your own mind and you have a self-discovery of who you are yourself, I believe that your eyes are not only going to be open, but I do believe that your path will change. I literally believe that your path will change. I believe that whenever you think, you will think different than what you thought before. You will not go by what has been placed in you and use that as a measuring stick for what you're about to do. But when it comes to leaders, and I was just saying that no, we're not supposed to lead people. And then therefore, whatever happens as far as when it comes to the church, we can all come together. This is a training center here, and of course, I train, but everybody here has the opportunity to open up their mouth. They can stop me at any time. They can say whatever it is they want to say. They can ask whatever it is they want to ask. You cannot do that in other arenas. Everybody here is basically equal. There's no big I's, there's no little U's. Everybody here have their own mind, and that's what's key. Everybody here is free to call me Cheryl, because I'm not that person that I had to break away from. The barrier had to be broken concerning pastor, overseer, elect lady, all of these titles. All of these titles. See, the more successful you become as a leader, the less titles you need. I'll say that again. The more successful you become as a leader, the less titles, you're going to need. As a matter of fact, our only goal in this life, seriously, is to reduce ourselves to our first name. That's why I started off this morning by telling you, seriously, I am Cheryl. You hear me from time to time. I'll tell you I'm Cheryl. I'm Cheryl Tabit L. And really, the only person that I am is Cheryl. Tabit L, Alston, Palmer, those were never my name. And whenever you go back in history, then you'll understand that the last name you have was always the master's name. You were known by your masters. That's Master Alston's slave. That's Master Palmer's slave. That's how you got your last name. The only thing that belongs to you is your first name. See, you can't do that in the church because of these titles. But whenever you, and you don't believe me, this is what I said God gave me so many years ago, seriously, and it came back up last Tuesday. You don't believe it? Look in the Word of God. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Haggai, Ezekiel said, Obadiah said, Mark said, Jesus said. No, but you want to be the right Reverend Bishop. You want to be the apostle this. You want to be the overseer. You want to be the queen mother. You want all these titles. All these titles just prove that you're not doing anything. I said it, I meant it, and I'm here to represent it. I sure did. Work yourself. The goal is to work yourself into being who you are, which is your name only, Cheryl. That's all that belonged to me. Whatever your first name is, that's all that belonged to you. All these great people that were in the Bible, listen. Moses, Joshua. Do y'all know a last name? No, because they were free. They were free. I don't care what problems they ran into. They were still free. Now, who are you this morning? Doctor, bishop, apostle. Who are you? You can tell how effective you are by how many titles you get rid of. So, it's okay. Think about it. Think about what's really being said. Go to the Word. I mean, it backs everything up. So, leadership is not a pursuit of power, position, title, or authority. Leadership is the direct result of you being able to discover who you are. Self-discovery. That's what leadership is. Attitude is getting ready to come up after I tell you one thing. I know I just recently said, I called all the biblical names, but I said this. I said they all had problems. They did. It wasn't that they were so bright, they were so intelligent, but God placed purpose in them. And literally over the weekend, I sat and I wrote, I said, every last one of your problems has a purpose. All of our problems have a purpose. And since it has presented itself, then you need to make it your business to find out the purpose. I can tell you that the purpose of your problem, it literally is to advance you in some area of your life. Problems come to advance you, but you look at it. See, it's the way we've been taught. It's the way we've been taught. Like I said, even with Goliath, Goliath had a purpose. You looked at him as being a giant, but even in him being a giant, Goliath knew what his purpose was. He knew. And to David and to the rest of the army, Goliath was the problem. But the problem had a purpose and knew his purpose. It's up to you to get into the purpose and to understand what the purpose of the problem is in order for you to be able to be the victor. It's not a problem to defeat a problem. The problem is we've always been running from it. You have to literally respond to it. And there is a way that you respond to the problem that makes you victorious over the problem. It brings you to it, takes you through it, and delivers you out of it. Why? Because somewhere in between seeing it, coming out of it, you believed. Your belief system kicked in somewhere, and then you were able to be free. Deliverance is one thing, but freedom, you free yourself. Don't wait for God to free you. You free yourself. Let's talk about our attitude. As I said, our attitude arises from our fundamental beliefs and convictions. And that's literally where we're dealing with. What has literally been put into us? What's been put into you at 5 years old? You know, that you still have it. You still have it in you. But you got to discover the beliefs about yourself. What are your convictions? What are your opinions about your life, about you? See, this is the new birth that I'm talking about. This is the time that the mind now has to become open, and you have to make a conscious decision. You know what? I'm getting ready to destroy everything that they said. They said I could, they said I couldn't, they said I would, they said I should. I'm gonna destroy all of that. I'm getting ready to open up my mind, and I'm getting ready to look in me, and I'm getting ready to discover who I am. I want to know what my gift is. I want to know why I'm here. I don't want to be here based on, and follow anybody else's path except the path that was designed for me to follow. As I said, you've got to, because if you don't have an opinion of yourself, trust me, somebody else gonna give you one. If you don't have an opinion about who you are, and I want to really encourage us not to do is to put yourself up in an area of let's say it like this. Let's let looks and smarts and dress and all of this, let this be the very last thing we focus on. Because sometimes we get an attitude about, our outer that really makes it difficult for us to go inside ourselves to discover the gift that was placed in us. Nothing wrong with looking good. I look good. Ain't nothing wrong with looking good. Ain't nothing wrong with feeling good. I feel good. There's nothing wrong with it. But you got to know how to compartmentalize it. You got to know how to bring it out, where to put it. But first things first. You got to understand that I need to go in me and to discover what's in me. And when I discover this thing, then I need to come up out of myself with my own opinions, my own convictions about how it is. Now, look, I don't even know. I don't even know how I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I know what I see, but I don't even know how to get there. You don't have to. Like I said, if you can hold it in your head, trust me, you can hold it in your hands. In other words, if you can see it, and if what you see yourself deployed, not working for anybody else. You know why you have problems on your job? You know why? Because you're not supposed to be there. It's all right. God is literally not designed us that we would work for ourselves. When you work for yourself, you don't have a problem with yourself. You don't have to write yourself up. You don't have to deduct money from yourself. You don't have to give yourself appraisals. You literally, come on, y'all, catch this on today. Open up your mind, put this inside. Your job is your skill. Your work is your gift. So you're a skilled person working on a job that's getting ready to be a worker that has discovered their gift. And that's why leadership is about you getting that gift that God has placed in you, sent us here with it in us, discovering it, and then serving it to the world. Serving it. And whenever you serve whatever it is your gift to the world, they will come. That's the leadership. They will come. They will be attracted, not to you. They may be influenced by you, but the attraction to you will be not to you. It will be to your gift. You will become a slave to your gift, not to a job. Oh, it's time. See, you don't know what's trapped in you. You don't believe it? God did not make woman. God placed woman in a girl. God did not make man, per se. He placed man in a boy. The boy had to mature. The girl had to mature. Into. This morning you have to open up your mind. You have to go inside and you have to mature. You have to develop. You have to become that leader that God placed in you. And he gave you what it is you were to lead with. You are to lead from. You are to lead with that gift. You are to lead from that gift. I encourage you on this morning. This is exciting for me. Ask yourself, what are your abilities? Your abilities has nothing to do with what you've previously learned. Your degrees, that's not your ability. You know plenty of people that probably went to college, got a degree, and not even working in the area that they were degreed in. That's not it. What are your abilities? See, now is the time that you have self-discovery. Now is the time you crush all of those. Now, don't get me wrong. Some things that we were taught, that we were learned, those things were good, still good, and we still use them. We understand. And I use this as an example, and I'm done. Because I'm still learning and discovering me. And I'm still, let me just say this. My sister was here, and she was visiting me. And we went to a store. We went out to a store, and she walked. It was a column. It was a column, and she walked that way first, since she was ahead of me, and I started to walk straight through, but then something kicked in me, and it kicked in me from that subconscious mind of mine, and when I saw the column and she went first, I automatically knew, oh Lord, it's bad luck. It's superstition. Oh, it's bad luck. I can't go that way. So instead of continuing to walk straight, I literally stopped and I went and I walked in the same path, in the same direction that she walked. And after I did that thing, then I laughed. See, though that's a barrier, that's still, something as simple as that. If those things aren't broken, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen whenever you break barriers. It's going to be such a freedom. It's going to be such a release. And as my daughter and I, we were speaking on this past weekend, and I told her, she was saying that, people don't believe that, some people in the church believe that I'm coming back to the church ways, to the ways of the church. And I'm like, nah. I said, I understand how you're saying that. And I said, I literally do. I said, but what they don't understand is this. I said, I got someplace to go. I have something that was placed in me, and I see it. I see it. It's not up to me to know how I'm going to get there. It's up to me to hold what I see, and every day to walk towards what it is I see. And I guarantee you, whatever is needed to get me there is on my path. But I have to go. But I told her, I said, I literally see myself going. I said, and everything else that's trying to attach itself to me from the past or whatever it is, I said, I see as I go, I see everything just dropping off. I said, they're not able to hold on Neither are they able to hold on to me or to cause me to come back. I'm sorry. Whenever you break the barrier, and the barrier is in your mind, if you can't break the way you think, that they have always caused you to know how to think, then you will never get to the place, nor will you ever discover the gift that God has placed in you. God never sent us here. We are not accidents, we are assignments. There is something that God wants us to do in our generation. That's the reason why we're here. And when you discover that, he said that your gift will make room for you, and it'll bring you in the presence of great men. You know, that's what it is. Greatness is in you. Greatness is before you. He told me this year, kingdom greatness. He told me that, and I stick with it. Just like he told me not to close for the pandemic. He kept us. He kept us. I'm just telling you, you have to literally discover who you are. Go inside you. Root up everything that they placed in you. Root it up. From the rooter to the tutor. Root it up. Cast it out. Throw it away. Clean yourself out. Then value yourself. Never let anybody place value on you. Value yourself. Nobody knows your worth. And if you want to become great, do as the word say. Serve your gift. Become a greater servant by serving your gift to the world. They're going to come. They're going to come because they're going to be attracted to your gift. And you will live, literally live, from the service that you give. God bless you on this morning. Tune in with us on Tuesday nights. We'll probably go live on this Tuesday night, 5 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time here at the Crossroads. God bless you on today. Your attitude, I'm not going to tell you anything about it determines your altitude. Your attitude, that's what you have. That's what it is. It's 80% of your belief. That's what your attitude is, what you believe. So what you believe is what you're able to receive.